Hi,
All right.
welcome back.
Yep.
It's time for What's Up and About. And over the weekend, there was a
is.
lot of talk about Yahoo. You know what it is, the 419 scammers and all of that, and then also ritual killings. So I'm going to bridge that in a minute. There was a Punch release from this morning that told about 3 teenage boys who left Delta State with their parents' consent all the way to Edo State, and with the intent to go and learn how to become scanners, Yahoo. Also from that, we've also had instances from over the weekend where young people in their teens were arrested because they were engaging in rituals just because they wanted to become rich from being scammers. There was an actor who over the weekend also noted that Nigerians should stop this association with Nollywood and ritual killings. And the fact that it is not that Nollywood is responsible. What is responsible is the worldly, how did he put it? I can't remember how he put it. But what he talked about was it's that show-off syndrome that Nigerians have that's causing younger people to want to go into get-rich-quick type of endeavors, which will include rituals and also us being scammers. But first off, my question is, I don't believe in diabolical means to try and get anything. I don't believe in all these extra metaphysical, what's it called? And I'm sure a lot of people share as much as I do. It really doesn't work. But what is causing the rise in people endeavoring in that kind of act?
So I want to touch on the Nollywood thing. So the truth is, what people have access to in terms of content is so important. If you see in the US, they always enforce values in most of their, well, in a lot of their movies. They always make sure they have the American flag. They always make sure their soldiers look a certain way. You know, they do everything possible to make sure that they portray the environment in a positive light. When you have movies that are portraying, you know, certain characters becoming rich due to certain things, it's creating an impression. It's an indelible impression on some young people's mindsets. So there are a lot of other great stories that are being told. Thankfully, these days, the new Nollywood, in quotes, is telling a lot more wholesome stories, and they're going into different directions. But it's something that a lot of us grew up with. A lot of reasons why I didn't watch Nigerian, because my parents didn't let me watch them, because that was what they believed you were going to see in those movies.
So the point, if it's Nollywood, let me just have a fast take on all and move on to what. If it's Nollywood, that means that old Nollywood, in quotes, still has much influence and power. Because it's actually old Nollywood. I mean, that's why we had all the Kanayos, the Francis Agu.
That was what it was mostly about.
Ejike, Osiebu, Asiebu, Clemo Ameze, you know, and all that. I mean, wonderful stories. They make me smile when I think about them. But it means that that thing has, you see, the issue of jazz now, let's ask people, so it was trending on social media, even up until now, jazz, you know, it's somehow, it's dicey. If you believe in the spiritual, in one way or the other, then you believe that in some way or the other, the spiritual can be channeled to affect the physical.
So do you think it, do you believe in it? Do you think it actually...
It's a bit of, I say, man, how do I put this now?
Being careful. Don't be careful.
No, it's not being careful. So when it came into my mind, I'm still trying to. Yes, I don't believe somebody has to. A head cannot give you money. A head will not sit down and vomit notes that the Central Bank of Nigeria or the UK has numbers on, and then it's coming out from a head like you saw in a movie. That would not happen.
I see why it makes you laugh.
That would not happen. Exactly. That would not happen. But in some ways, some of these people obey some level of laws in some other ways. You know, like I said, if you believe in the spiritual, then you believe that the supernatural can affect the physical. But then that's on the side, That's on the side. We're talking about these young boys, teenagers now. 16, 17, 18.
14, 15, according to today's article.
Who are going as far. The other day was some guys with excreta on a major road. They didn't care. They didn't care. How did we get to this point? Who do we blame? Where do we start from? Are these boys so desperate? Has it gotten that bad? Who do they look up to? The government has its own place to play. The parents themselves have their own place to play. But are we, as a country, have we gotten to that level? Where it's so bad now? I mean, a young boy has a girlfriend. She said they had 2 exes. At what age? Wow. At 17, you already have 2 exes. At 17, I was
Nigerian actor Sam Nwabuike actually says that, hey, we actually do tell about these things instead of Nigerian movies. However, we're telling about the risk. We're telling you what you should ward off against. But then again, it's still there. You still have
Yeah.
to act it out. You're still telling people that rituals actually work and stuff like. So it's a kind of like, I don't know what part of the seesaw
from
you
the
want to
Yahoo
take.
Yahoo side of things, a lot of parents have now this phobia of even just letting their young people have a computer, whereas on the computer you can make money in so many different ways.
Phobia?
And there's so many advancements in tech and technology now that with a computer, legitimately, these kids can learn to earn a living.
To earn money and to make
earn
money.
a living.
Yeah.
Without the Yahoo aspect of scamming people.
I think, you know...
And these kids are actually so smart. Do you
What I
understand the
wanted to mention-
dedication?
Yeah, what I wanted to mention was Noble Igwe, because he started that discussion on social media. Let me rush and just read through 3 of his tweets. But he said something quite interesting. He said every day, okay, no, this is one. He said people will post 3 skits in a year.
Yeah.
And then post a house they just bought.
Yeah.
People appear in 2 movies and then post new house. The thing is, we celebrate all types of questionable wealth.
True.
The church will
Oh, yeah.
take donation from anyone with money. The village will crown anyone with money, no questions
So
asked.
it's not Nollywood.
Families don't exactly.
It's not Nollywood. It is our celebrating
It is our
these.
society. I mean,
Aha.
you have churches where you have potential. You have a scammer who is your biggest giver, who has even scammed people inside the church, and nobody
They're
is just
celebrating
there.
them.
They are being celebrated. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. We've even had cases of, okay, someone stole some money I went to give to church. I've heard of a scenario where people are going to give CFOs or places that they don't really have access to church, and the church is fighting to hold them back.
So I think you can
Wow.
conclude by
Wow.
saying that we are celebrating these questionable wealth,
All
and that
round,
people are just
from-
simply engaging in get rich by any means necessary tactics, and that's where the problem is. But how can we, or what should we do to kind of like ward off against it?
Everybody from from all tiers, from the local tier, the constituents. You're talking about also villages. Also, you crown anybody, you don't care. He's a chief Igwe. What?
Yeah.
The churches. Everybody has a stake in this one. Everybody.
Very true. Nicely said, Mike, and Titi as well. Tell us what you think. Use the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC. We'll read them, especially on Facebook. We'll be back. Do stay tuned.